It's WNYC. Marketplace coming your way next. On the show tonight, a lot of Americans head south when they retire. Not all of them stay, though.
Halfbacks are people that live in the Midwest, the Northeast, move to Florida, decide it's not for them, and they go halfway back.
Oh, they come halfway back. That's great.
What that means for the economy, that's coming up on Marketplace in just a moment at 6:30 here on WNYC. We'll be back with All Things Considered at 7. 35 degrees right now. We're going to see temperatures settle this evening in the low 30s. And then for tomorrow, it's still going to be very windy, high again around 38 degrees. We'll see temperatures again around the freezing mark tomorrow night. Stay with us. It's Monday evening. You're listening to WNYC. It's just before 6:30.
WNYC is supported by Eastern Public, whose team of public adjusters manages property insurance claims and recovery for homes or businesses that have sustained significant property damage. More at easternpublic.com.
If you believe democracy requires a free press, your station is WNYC, 93.9 FM and AM 820, NPR News and the New York Conversation.
Marketplace is supported by Bitwarden, with a reminder that investing in a password manager for business can help protect employees, executives, and IT teams. Learn more at bitwarden.com.
Yes, there was market news today, and we will get to it. But you know what's even more important to this economy? How old everybody's getting. From American Public Media, this is Marketplace.
Marketplace is supported by Glassdoor, announcing the best places to work in 2025 based on anonymous reviews from real employees. Learn who's leading the way in employee satisfaction and see who's hiring at glassdoor.com/bestplacestowwork. And by The Economist, which has been dedicated to providing independent journalism that makes sense of the news shaping the world for over 180 years. More at economist.com or with The Economist app, newsletters, and podcasts. And by Amazon Business, aiming to help save time by offering smart business buying solutions, so there's more time to focus on growing the business and less time doing the admin. More at amazonbusiness.com.
In Los Angeles, I'm Kai Ryssdal. It is Monday today, the 27th of January. Good as always to have you with us, everybody. A couple of months ago, in Cumberland County, Tennessee, right next to a well-used pickleball court,
Where are we playing to?
I met up with a colleague. Hey, how are you? It's good to see you.
I'm great.
Look at you. You look fresh from travel and everything. Holy cow, we're all just like beat up.
Literally.
That is ADP Chief Economist Neela Richardson. Here we are. I'm seeing my first pickleball game ever, by the way. Why are we here?
Here, meaning rural Tennessee.
Here, Cumberland County, Tennessee.
We are here because Cumberland County is the future.
Cumberland County is about halfway between Nashville and Knoxville. Population, a hair under 65,000. And about a third of them are 65 years old or older. So how then is this place the future?
So if you look at people, demographics,
right,
and look at the trajectory over the next 10 years, what you'll see is that we in the U.S. are a population that is aging.
Yep.
We're aging because boomers are hitting retirement age, over 65, and because younger people are not having children at the same rate, which leads to places like Cumberland.
ADP handles payroll for more than 40 million workers all over the planet, which means it is sitting on reams of data about workers in this economy and everywhere else. And I should say ADP Research is funding this project. And we asked Neela to crunch some numbers for us on the places with the oldest workers in the United States. Cumberland County, with a median worker age of 47, was right near the top of that list.
That's why we're here. The data brought us here.
I think I know why it matters, but you're the trained economist in the conversation. Why does it matter?
It changes the economy. Economists love to say this, demographics are destiny.
Mm-hmm.
When you have more people who are retirement age than who are going into working age, it changes consumption patterns, deficits, The list is endless. And so what Cumberland represents is that tension between an aging population and a workforce who is struggling to keep up.
Demographers will tell you, should you ask, that the United States has hit peak 65, with just about 4 million people reaching retirement age every year. It is the biggest wave of retirements in history. And that tension that Neela mentioned between an aging population and the workforce supporting them is spilling over into debates about entitlement spending and deficits and immigration and the competitiveness of U.S. businesses. In a word, about the future of this economy.
We're going to get to the global part of this in a minute, but it's not just here, right?
No. In fact, if you look at any advanced economy, whether it's Europe, China, Japan, you see the same demographics at play. In fact, in Japan, they're even further along this trajectory, where they have older workers and retiring populations being supported by an increasingly shrinking prime age workforce. Now, over the next 30, 40 years, those prime age workers will be in Africa, in South Asia, no longer in advanced economies, but in developing economies, some of them very, very poor.
Prime age workers, what Neela's talking about here, are people between 25 and 54. They helped drive the American economy in the 20th century. And that group has made up a shrinking share of the U.S. labor force since the 1990s. We're not even in the top 10 anymore.
All right, so let's use that to bring it back home, right? If Africa, Southeast Asia, traditionally poor economies have the demographic upper hand in the next half century or so, right? What's that going to mean for us?
Well, one thing it's going to mean is we're seeing more and more workers work for a longer period of time. They have to. Now, there's some good things that are underlying that. Health outcomes are better. People are living longer. They're being healthier into retirement. So for some people, this is not a bad life. But in terms of the economy, when you have more retirees on the backs of fewer workers, it leads to higher inflation, unless there's some way to get more labor supply when there's so much labor demand.
Which is an immigration question.
That's one of many.
Okay, so in the next 2 days, we're going to talk to a bunch of people. What are you looking for? What are the things that are on your mind as we set out on this reporting trip?
First, I'm looking for a beautiful place to retire.
You are younger than I am,
Always
Neil
scouting
Richardson,
out that.
and I will just say I'm not thinking about it, so don't you dare.
This is a really pretty place.
It's gorgeous, right?
Secondly, I'm looking for how people thrive in retirement. This is not just an economic issue. This is a quality of life issue. So if a community reorients itself to its aging population, what happens to the younger folks who are still here? Schools, extracurricular activities, housing. How does a community solve that problem? That's why I said immigration is not a singular solution to all of the issues that come up when you talk about aging and demographics.
Right.
We came to Cumberland County to explore what happens to a place when working age people get outnumbered. And we thought we were going to find stories about a gradually graying rural community with young people leaving and older people forced to keep working. What we found, though, is much more complicated. And if demographics are destiny, then the dynamics at play here now are going to affect decisions that policymakers and business owners and the rest of us make every single day, and in time are going to transform every part of this economy and beyond. This is the start of a new series that we're calling The Age of Work, about how the demographic shifts happening here and abroad are shaking up the global economy. Our first stop is about 100 yards down the road from those pickleball courts at a community center.
Ooh, it's nice in here. It's a little boomy, though, a little echoey.
How are you? I'm Neela Richardson.
Mary Jo Page.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Mary Jo Risdall. Nice to see you. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Mary Jo Page is the marketing director of the Fairfield Glade Community Club. It's a homeowners association, but a really big one.
You want to come back? Or
Yeah, but
wait?
actually, first, wait. I just saw this map over here.
Okay.
Can you tell me where we are on this thing?
Yes.
I need to orient myself.
We are right here.
To orient you, I have to explain that Fairfield Glade is a retirement community with about 9,500 residents, 10 or so miles from Crossville, the county seat.
Well, it's 12,000 acres,
Yeah.
so it's a big
Lots of
place.
lakes and lots of golf courses.
Yeah,
It's
11
beautiful
lakes,
here. It's
5
really
golf courses. Well,
My
thank
goodness.
you. Yeah,
All
we
right.
love it here. We got a constant flow of people that are falling in love with Fairfield Glade and ultimately want to live here.
Says the marketing person. All right, let's go.
I've got this.
Something you should know about Mary Jo? She is always selling Fairfield Glade.
These are our ballrooms. There's 3 of them.
On the way to her office, she walked us past gymnasiums,
There's pickleball
Oh, you can
players.
hear the pickleball through the doors.
a cafe,
This is an Olympic-sized pool.
and then showed us into her plushly furnished office.
I don't know if we can fit
Yeah.
everybody in here.
Yeah, we
but-
totally can.
Mary Jo's been working in advertising for decades. She's been in charge of marketing here at Fairfield Glade since 2013. And like a lot of people you find here, she's not originally from Tennessee.
Well, I grew up in the Chicago area originally, but I lived in Florida longer than I lived in the Chicago area. But I got down there and I loved it. And you either love that or you don't. My husband hated it. So we're what you call halfbacks. Have you heard that
What
terminology?
are halfbacks?
Halfbacks are people that live in the Midwest, the Northeast, move to Florida, decide it's not for them, and they go halfway
They
back.
come halfway back. That's great.
Because of those halfbacks and other retirees just looking to escape northern winters, the median age in Fairfield Glade is almost 70.
Over the last 11 years that I've been here, we've grown 32%.
I'm curious what happened during the pandemic.
That's when the remote work started. And when the remote work started with people, they were like, why in the world would I want to stay in California? No offense. That they were saying that. And then they were like, we'll come here. We can remote work. We can hike. We can do all these things outside where you don't really have to worry about human contact. Because remember how strange it was there
Right.
for a while.
Well, when, projecting 10 years from now, is there ever a point where it starts to change in character when there's so many people, maybe too many people coming?
I think it's been very measured growth that we've been able to handle. And I suppose if you really were anti-growth and you just don't want change, like some of the folks where I live currently are, they don't like the change.
Is the labor force there to support that growth as well?
I hope we're going to develop that. Really, I do. I know hospitality. I know the state is really focused on that too, because our number 2 industry is tourism in Tennessee. I'm really anxious for you to tour the area.
We will. We're going out tomorrow.
Mary Jo has to project confidence about the future of Fairfield Glade. That is her job. But you can tell the workforce is on her mind. A lot of the people who live here in Fairfield Glade don't work 9 to 5. Some take shifts at the community center or the racket club. They get free golf in return. And many of them do volunteer work.